Give me some water or something. It's the sun and it's not the sun, because this mirror is a perfect reflection. It conveys the light, it conveys the power, it conveys the warmth. And in reality, these manifestations convey the love of this divine Son, this divine Creator. This is why when Christ says the Father and I are one, we say, yes, we believe it. This is why when Christ also says that the Father is greater than I, we go, oh, okay, I can understand. Is he contradicting himself? Is he confused? And, oh, wait. No, he's not. Both statements are accurate. At one time, he's talking about the light that shines from him, and at one time, he's talking about himself as a reflection of that greater power. Well, as Baha'is, we believe that all of the manifestations of God, all of the messengers of God are like this same mirror. They're all on the same level. They all occupy the same station. They all bring to us the same light, the same message. But what they do is they bring it to us at different times in history. If you take a child, say 4-year-old child, bright child, brilliant child, they're getting smarter and smarter, My little brother just amazes me. Makes me mad, really, but, because he's so smart, I feel like a dinosaur. But you take this child, 4-year-old child, could I take this child and stick him into Harvard University and expect him to compete with other people who are older? They're all going, is this a trick question? No, come on, give me a break. Of course you couldn't. You're not going to take this child and stick him in trigonometry and expect him to get it? No, he's not going to get it. Why? Thank you. He doesn't even know 1 + 1 is 2 yet. Right? He's got to learn that first. Once he gets the basic stuff, then, you go, okay, cool, you got your addition thing. Now we're going to trick you, throw you into some subtraction, maybe some division, multiplication. You get the groundwork. You get it solid. And then what do? Then you build upon that. And then maybe you get a little algebra, and then you get a little geometry, and then you get a little more algebra, and then you're going on and on and on. And the next thing you know, you're Albert Einstein, But you don't start off that way. Now, if we as human beings can figure that out with our children, don't you think that God, who created us, can figure that out with us as a people? Probably. It's my guess. Probably. I don't know. My best guess. So that's exactly what we believe has been happening, that God throughout the ages has been guiding mankind progressively. At different ages, he sends us a teacher to give us what we are capable of comprehending at that time. And then once as a whole people, we understand and grasp and start to live by those teachings. And that's an important part, to live by those teachings. Then we progress. Mankind suddenly jumps up to another level. All of our society and our inventions and sciences and everything begins to grow. But because he only gives us so much teaching, that takes us only so far. And then it's necessary once we reach the end of that, for what? Another teacher to come. Exactly. And another set of teachings. Baha'u'lláh uses the seasons as an example of this. He says that when the manifestations of God come, it's like springtime. Everything's beautiful. The grass is growing. The birds are singing. Nature is just booming. It's beautiful. Everything's new. Everything's fresh. Everything's alive. The air is clean and crisp. This is the beginning of a brand new day when this manifestation is born unto this earth and begins teaching, begins giving these new teachings to uplift all of mankind. I'm going to go back to Abraham. I'm going to be really brief on this because I want us to understand the historical context of what's been going on. When these teachers of God come, they come for 2 reasons, and they bring 2 sets of teachings. They bring a social teaching and they bring a spiritual teaching. And the spiritual teachings never change. They're always the same. Every religion in the world says, be a good person. Tell the truth. Be just. Be kind. If they don't, you need to check that out because that's probably not a religion. I don't know. Maybe it's a club. Politics. I don't know. What is it? But But every religion says this because these are the spiritual teachings. These are the spiritual principles. And we know that God doesn't change. And so the spiritual law doesn't change either. Our understanding of the spiritual law, however, does change. Because just like that child, that 4-year-old child, as that child grows, his comprehension is going to grow with him. His understanding of the world is going to grow with him. And as his understanding grows, more knowledge is needed to keep up with that understanding. Not just to keep up with it, but to guide it, to pull him forward. And we're the same way. If God just sent us Abraham and just said, okay, this is all you're going to get, we'd be in serious problems right now. Really, we would be. Because, that was a long time ago. And people didn't even know about each other. We didn't even know there was such thing as, China. We were there. The people who Abraham came to, they didn't know that there were even other people. So how could Abraham talk about the oneness of the world? The oneness of humanity? What humanity? Well, you mean my cousin Fred? I love that guy. Really? The people back then did not deal with the same things that we now as a world are dealing with. The world has become a very small place. It's not by accident. Think about this. It's not by accident. This is part of the plan. All the inventions that we have now, all the communication, all the travel possibilities, we can be from here in another country in a matter of hours. That never existed before. Sometimes we take that for granted because we grew up with this. It never existed before. There are people alive today who were alive when these things didn't exist. The world was a different place. The fastest you could go was how fast your horse could run. The furthest you could go was how far your probably camel could go, because they go pretty far. But that was people's concept of the world. So Abraham back in his time couldn't talk about the oneness of mankind. No, he wanted to start at the beginning. A very simple principle. How about family unity? Father, you can't kill son for that piece of meat anymore. Because really that's the way it was. It was like a very barbaric, individual, every man for himself type thing. If you and I, you could be my brother, and we would compete for something, and I would kill you. We all know the story from the Bible, how Cain and Abel were brothers, and Cain slew Abel. Hey, that was kind of back then, right? We get the idea. The principle was family unity, and the spiritual principle was the oneness of God. Along comes Moses. Does he negate what Abraham said about family unity? No, he increases it. He says, great, you guys got the family unity thing? Wonderful. Come together now. Bring all the families together as a tribe.